Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and we are here at Tibbetts Brook Park in Yonkers to celebrate and cut the ribbon for the reconditioning of three soccer fields at this park location that really give a fresh new opportunity for people to come and play soccer, both youth soccer, lacrosse, a host of other athletic activities. These three fields, along with the field at Saxon Woods and White Plains, represent another major step forward for us in our renovation of our parks in Westchester County, which we put a lot of time and emphasis on. I'm joined today by our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, who is with us here, who was one of the strong advocates during his legislative experience and now in the executive branch for these renovations and changes. State Senator Shelly Mayer is with us here, representing this area in the New York State Senate, longtime advocate for Yonkers. We have Peter Tartaglia, who's going to speak in a second as a Deputy Commissioner for Westchester County Parks. And we also have with us Marty Lyons, who's Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations for the Land Tech Group, the organization that conducted these things. And I have to say, as a New York Jet fan all my life, Marty Lyons, a great Jet who performed brilliantly on the defensive line for us for many years and was part of some of my best Sundays over the course of my rooting career as a Jet fan. But today we're here at Field 1 at Tibbetts Brook Park, and this is a well-used park under normal circumstances. We're obviously going through the days of COVID-19 where things have changed and a host of different activities have changed. But this field has been renovated and brought back to life, as have two other fields here. The original field was built in 2005, 2007. So over the lifespan of 13 years, it needed this renovation. The Saxon Woods Park field was created in 2005, and you'll see it as you go north or south on the Hutchinson River Parkway. It is immediately to the north of the parkway in the city of White Plains. Under COVID guidelines, we can now welcome players back to the fields with this great bit of repair. I'm going to let both Peter and Marty talk a little bit about what was done here at this field, and then I'll ask Shelly to say a few words, then I'll come back to close. So next, our Deputy Commissioner of Parks, first Deputy Commissioner of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, Peter Tartaglia.
Thank you, County Executive. It's true. We were here. I was here, and a lot of people who are here now were here in 2007 when we opened these fields. We're a lot older. A lot's changed, but the technology has changed too. And from the original fields that we had placed here, there are a lot of new features to this, including a shock pad, which addresses concussions and other issues with fields. There's also a new inlay. It's not crumb rubber anymore. It's a sand-based product, and lots of other drainage and other things that we do. The County Executive also touched upon the fact that we have begun to rent these fields for basically practices, some practice games, practices, and drills under New York State guidelines. All groups have to present us with a safety plan before we will book it. We are booking to organized groups only at this time as part of also the guidelines that have been set apart for us. And we have a staff member here at all times when the fields are being played upon. Just a quick extra note, and also on behalf of our Commissioner, Kathy O'Connor, who's on vacation this week, we couldn't be happier to have all these four fields open again. Land Tech, DPW, Woodward and Curran, everybody who worked on this worked professionally, quickly, and really wonderfully to have these fields back. We'll get many, many years of use out of this for our youth and adults, so it's really great. A quick couple of shout outs. Ken Yulee, who is the DPW representative for Parks, worked very hard on this project. Joe Simoncini, who's the director of our Parks division. Mike Tominelli is here with his staff, who operate this park and do a great job doing it. And I have to say one thing, Mary Kay Koch, who has been with us since 1985, she's our director of marketing. This is her last press conference working with us. She is retiring as of tomorrow. So thanks for being here with us all these years, and thank you for the opportunity today.
And again, we want to thank both our planning department that did design work as well as our DPW department that oversaw the construction. The field's renovation involved some of the most modern technology for this kind of a field design. And I was listening to Marty describe some of the features there. And any of us who have some idea of what a turf field is like really don't know how much that industry has advanced, and both in the way it plays, the way it feels, the way it drains. And so we're very happy to have Marty here as the spokesperson for Land Tech to talk a little bit about how the field has been structured. And of course, because he himself has played professionally in college on fields, he's an expert not only on what he understands and knows, but what he himself as a participant is looking for in a field. So we're very grateful that he and his organization were able to provide their professional services to get this done. Marty.
Thank you. On behalf of Landtech and the ownership, Mike Ryan and Ed Ryan, it's my pleasure to be here. And it's a pleasure to work with Westchester County. I think working on these two fields gave us a better understanding that the future of tomorrow is going to be the children that play here, what they learn here, the discipline, the dedication. It's not just their athletic ability, but we have a tagline at Landtech. It says building champions from the ground up. And playing sports my whole entire life, it made you understand what it was like to do and be successful, to work as a team, to understand the teamwork. What we were able to do here is we came in, we took out the old turf. We removed some of the stones so that it would have better drainage capabilities. We made sure the perimeter pipe, which takes all the water off the field and exit the water on an outlet, made sure that it can take any rainfall and make sure that you don't have any rain out games anymore. We put flat pipes in the middle of the field on a herringbone type of diagram to make sure it picked up all the water. But the best thing about it is we used a synthetic grass turf called a slit film. It was an XT45, and we replaced the crumb rubber with a TPE product, which will be a lot cooler for the athletes to play on. And we also utilized the shock pad, which will absorb when the athletes fall on it to try to prevent any sort of head injuries. But working with everybody here at Westchester County, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to represent Landtech here today. That's why we believe that we are the leader in the sports industry here in the Northeast, but it's people like yourself that show the faith and the confidence in Landtech that makes us that. So thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you in future projects.
I'd like to ask our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, to say a few words. Ken represented for 11 years one of the county legislative districts here in Yonkers and was chair of the Westchester County Board of Legislators for 4 of those years in office. During this period of time, he was a strong advocate for things all countywide, but also in the home community of Yonkers, because he knows exactly how well used this area is in Tibbetts Brook and all the different component pieces. We were here just a week ago looking at the efforts made to clear the water chestnuts out of the pond area, the lake, and Ken has been behind the effort to make sure that all of these parks have been brought up to speed. So, Ken, say a few words if you would.
Thank you, County Executive Latimer. And for me, this is an awesome privilege because in 2007, when we opened this particular field, I was the chair of Public Works, Parks, and Recreation. So not only being a hometown favorite because of being a Yonkers legislator, one of the 4 Yonkers legislators, but more importantly, being able to make these kind of investments. County Executive George Latimer, this is another promise that's been kept to the community to continue investing in all of our parks and open space. This particular 4 set of fields are going to be in use, and they are tremendously in use all of the time pre-COVID. And now in the new COVID world, we expect that same kind of thing to happen. So again, I am so happy to be part of a leadership team that with George Latimer that looks at these kind of things as investments for all of the people of Westchester County, and everyone's going to get great utilization of that. And again, thanks for being here today. Thanks, Bruce.
And finally, before some closing comments that I'll make, we're very honored to have State Senator Shelly Mayer with us here. Shelly and I have been colleagues in the state legislature. We served together in the Assembly. Then we each respectively went on to serve in the state Senate. She is now one of the leaders of the state Senate. And every time we turn to Albany for that extra little assistance, whatever it is, it might be legislation that allows us authority to do something. It might be some financing for a public works project. Sometimes it's the advice and the direction, the ability to cut through the bureaucracy in order to accomplish something. Shelley has been there along with her colleague who also represents part of Yonkers, State Senator Andre Stewart Cousins, as head of the State Senate. We're very grateful that both Andre and Shelley have been good partners for us, and certainly here in her home community of Yonkers, I'd like for her to share some thoughts as well. Senator.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. It really is a thrill to see this field the way it looks today. You know, as a person who knows how important parks are and so values the county executive's commitment to ensuring our parks and open spaces are invested in. This is what we want government to do. George has made this happen with his team. I'm so thrilled for the people of my district and the people of Yonkers. And if you come here on a summer night, hopefully after COVID is a little bit down the road, you will see the beautiful diversity of this city playing on this and every other field. This is a tribute to the county executive and the county executive's team for their investment in this park and the others, and I'm thrilled to be part of it. Thank you so much.
So just to wrap up our comments here, the parks of Westchester County are one of the great pride and joys that we have. And these parks, to the greatest extent, were created and the investments were made decades ago. And the wisdom of those investments are made whole by us maintaining them and advancing them over a period of time. When Marty Lyons and Land Tech comes in here and they use their professional skills to help us take a facility that needed complete renovation, they've done a brilliant job in doing it. And the leadership in each of the departments we've talked about, in the planning department, in the park department, the DPW department, all of those things factor into having this asset. We've had a lot of conversation about parks during the days of COVID, and we've managed to find a way to keep Bicycle Sundays going. We found a way to keep our public golf courses going, and Peter, Kathy O'Connor figured out how we could open our 4 pools, one of which is here at Tibbetts. We opened our 3 miniature golf courses, one of which is here at Tibbetts. We figured out how to open 2 of our beaches at a time when some jurisdictions say it's too hard, it's too complicated, we don't know how we're going to do this. And in every single commitment to those parks, we've done that without advancing the spread of COVID. And then when you look at the capital improvements, these capital improvements in these 3 fields here at Tibbetts, the one in Saxon Woods, you look at the improvement to the North County Trailway that was in a disastrous shape that now we're bringing back, and our plans to improve the South County Trailway, the restoration of the Miller House, Washington headquarters in North Castle, the reclamation of the Sprain Ridge pools and another section of Yonkers on the Greenberg border. In every one of those situations, we're showing the concrete commitment that we have to parks. Not rhetoric, not symbolic, actual dollars and cents, professional skills that have gone into doing this. Now, why do we do this? Executives, county executives come and go. I often talk about being a young boy growing up here in the southern part of the county. When you live in an apartment building, when you live in a congested neighborhood, these parks are your lungs. These parks are your lifelines. Young kids come here to play. They may not get as proficient in a sport as Marty did and become a professional, but it's a way for them to go outside to learn things, to learn teamwork, to understand discipline and making yourself as effective as you can with your body and your mind and your spirit. All of that is what these parks do. And so when we renovate this park, when we make these fields operative so people can use it, we're doing something of value for those young people and for the adults that play here too. That's our responsibility. That's our stewardship. That's what we try to do. We remember that the people that were here before us made certain commitments, and now it's within our responsibility to maintain those commitments, to pass it on to the next generation, and that's what we've done here today. So I want to thank everybody who's participated in this. I assume Catherine Chaffee will give us the official scissors so we can cut the ribbon, and we can open the park as soon as COVID allows us for folks to come and enjoy it.